Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is. Hold on a sec. I got the. There we go. Let me just fix that. Welcome, everybody, to Primetime Gaming Special Edition, and it's more like Primetime Gaming presents Sony's State of Play. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Boomstick XL. With me tonight is Kay Asante. You know this voice, the best voice in the business, I'm going to be honest with you.
Good evening, folks.
Right next to Mark Bernard himself from, of course, Fat
it.
Man on Batman. He is obviously a panel member on Primetime Gaming. And what I decided to do was, normally I don't stream at night because Mrs. Boomstick, she takes priority. But this is an event that she didn't mind me covering because obviously what happened today is breaking news. And I'm going to be covering when I do the shows at night. It's going to be Primetime Gaming presents whatever, because obviously I have an intro, an outro, and a panel that might want to join. And I'm going to send a link out to a few other people. We are expecting Mr. Badbit to join us, as well as BitCloud Gaming, and I really want them here because they are our PlayStation brothers, and I want to hear what they have to say. But let's welcome in who's here, Kay Asante. How the heck are you, brother? How you been?
Man, I'm good. I'm hyped because you got this music. Every time we start this intro, you get me going, and then you stop, and I'm like, come on, where's the music go? It's great. I love that music. It's awesome. Yes, I'm good. I'm happy to be here. You know, it's real fun. We get into it, talk about this PlayStation event. I enjoyed myself, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, listen. While we're here, while we're waiting for some guests to come in, I want to welcome, we have almost 100 people already here. Thank you so much for coming back. Obviously, today's Xbox Factor podcast, folks, was nothing short of incredible. We broke down some major topics. Of course, we closed out the show on the thumbnail title of acquisitions and what it means to Xbox Game Studios. If you missed that live, I am telling you right now, I brought the facts. I read everything that needed to be read. And I think that you will, if you're an Xbox fan, if you're excited for Xbox, you need to watch today's show. And of course, subscribe to the channel because it was really incredible from start to finish. But let's get to why we are here. Now, normally after a PlayStation event, like Kay Asante just did, I usually race to the headlines to see what is the gaming media talking about. And usually they're talking up Sony because, you know, they show AAA bangers, first party goodness, and everyone's excited for X game, whatever. Could you please tell me, Kay Asante, what you found as literally moments after this answer to Xbox, supposed answer to Xbox's E3, which was the State of Play?
Yeah, this is absolutely a little bit ridiculous. So, you know, and this is one of many. And I've been looking. I looked at IGN. I looked at a few other channels. You know, I'm looking, as you wanted to have this nice conversation, I wanted to put together like a nice little list of, hey, these were the games that I just saw. This is what I think of it. What's overshadowing this State of Play? It's the fact that Sony posted and then deleted an ad featuring an upside down PS5. So sad. What the hell, man?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I saw that happen this afternoon. I pulled the article. I have the article. I read half through the article and I scratched my head. Tomorrow, we're having on the King of Comedy. We're having royalty return to the realm in King David. So, of course, I had to get his opinion. He owns his own business. He obviously is the cheermeister of Phil, Dominus, Maximus, Aurelius Spencer. And I want to get his opinion on how Sony can continue to fumble every time they get the ball as of late. I don't know what's going on with marketing at Sony. They have really taken, a significant amount of steps back. Again, you know, before we went live, Kay Asante and I were talking in the green room, and I said, you know, if you take a step back, let's not put on any fanboy hats here. Me and Kay Asante, along with a lot of people in this chat, we love gaming. But with that said, folks, you gotta call it out when it's there. And it seems, at least to me, that roles have reversed. And what do I mean by that? Well, today's event seemed like an Xbox event from last year. Whereas Microsoft's event, as glorious as it was, seemed like a Sony event from last year. And it seems as if something is going on at Sony where they are just not the same Sony. And something is going on with Microsoft that proves, wow, they are really into this next gen stuff and they have arrived. So let's break down the 11 games, and we're going to break them down individually, but I'm going to read you the list. And I have it verbatim of how it was shown. We started off with Moss Book 2. Now, this is a PlayStation VR game. I'm going to be honest with you, as a supporter of PlayStation VR, I haven't bought a game in a while. Moss 1 was good. I have it. Unfortunately, I never really played through it. I've only seen it. I heard like Noof Nukem, for instance, loved it. So I bought it on his recommendation. And I have it sealed. I just never got to it. And like I said, I haven't played my PlayStation VR on the PlayStation 5. Thanks to Kay Asante, I heard it's a nightmare. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to wind up selling it privately and wait for PlayStation VR Point 2. So, okay, so we get Moss Book 2 for what I thought we were going to get some PlayStation VR 2.0 stuff. We got PlayStation old stuff. Okay, fine. Then they had a game come out right after that called Arcade-A-Geddem, which seemed to be a mashup of sorts between Fortnite meets the Wacky All-Star Racers meets, I don't know. It just was, it was not for me. So I looked at it, I kind of rolled my eyes and I kept it going. Now, the next game had me excited for a hot minute. And that was Tribes of Midgar. And I say a hot minute because back in the days, me and Mrs. Boomstick, she's not a die-hard gamer, but she's a gamer in her own way. And her favorite genre is the isometric 3 3/4 view, types of games like Diablo. And we played a game on the PlayStation 2. That's how old we are. Called Champions of Norath. Phenomenal game. We would play an entire weekend, 30 hours, start to finish, crack of the sun to the moonlight, and just laugh. And she loves loot. She's a looter. She loves loot. And that's what I thought it was until I started seeing them building towns and just battling hordes, not to get your town, destroyed. And I think, well, you know what? No thanks. But then there was another game that came after that, and this Big K Asante, I'm going to come back to you in a second. This definitely wet the whistle of both of us, and that's Fist. That game looks dope. That looks like what you would expect a Sony indie game to look like. Phenomenal. I'm assuming that it's going to be an exclusive for Sony. I'm all in. And then they had another game come out, which I was excited because it's kind of hacky, slashy kind of a thing. And that was Hunter's Arena. Now, I would have purchased that game. Well, thankfully, I don't have to because it's going into PlayStation Plus in August, which is dope. Which means that if you pay for PlayStation Plus, and I do, it's free. I say yes. Sifu is another game that Kay Asante is excited for. I'm excited for. I think that as you're aging, you get killed and you're coming back as an older, fighter. I think
stronger
that's
and wiser, baby. Stronger and wiser.
There you go. Yeah. Then there was another one and then both Kay Asante and I, we differ on this. Jet did nothing for me, but because of the weirdness, I think Kay Asante was interested. And then we had Demon Slayer, very Naruto kind of not for Boom. It's for someone. It's anime inspired, so someone's gonna like it. Just not for me. Lost Judgment looks dope. What could you say? The Judgment series just continues to impress every time you see a new version of it. This one's very interesting. It has like a very police investigation angle to it, almost like a Nor type of
it's
who done it
TV show like
So I'm excited for that. Death Stranding director's cut. I'm gonna be honest with you folks. I put 60 hours into Death Stranding. It was not for me originally. I played it. I liked the concept. I enjoyed it. It's a wacky story. I didn't know that we needed a director's cut, but Sony's trying to milk every $10 more that they can get out of the players, I'm going to pass on that. And then last but certainly not least, the temporary PlayStation 5 exclusive, soon to come to Xbox Game Pass, maybe at the end of next year or the following year. Deathloop looked interesting. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Here's BitCloud. Welcome, BitCloud. We'll get to you in a second, brother. Deathloop looked kind of dope. I'm not going to front, but it looked a lot like Dishonored. So, let's first of all, before I get to your case, Sante, BitCloud Gaming. What's up, dude? Welcome to the program. How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on, bro?
Good. No. We just broke down the 11 games that was shown. We're going to get everyone's opinion on what where this falls in the answer to E3. We know that we're getting an August show. We don't know specifically when. I think they said August 8th is the rumored event.
Yeah, they basically pushed it back a month because I remember it was June or July 8th was the rumor date the first time.
Yes,
they pushed it up. They basically pushed it up with the rumor leaked.
So and we have on good authority that we're going to get Horizon, which we've seen, but we're going to get probably a release date, which is dope. Yeah. Hopefully that's this year, and then we're going to get some God of War footage, which I'm excited for because I love God of War. But Asante, this again, what I think a lot of people are going to do, and I don't think it's just the community. I think this is also going to be the gaming media. They're very compare apples to oranges kind of a media that we roll in, circles that we roll in. And people are going to compare what one did versus the other. And we've seen that time and time again. And specifically, it's worked well for Sony because a lot of the, not so great shows that Microsoft has put on has been compared to some of the really great ones that Sony has put on. So you had said something that I want you to kind of really dig your teeth into is what are the PlayStation fans saying about this show? Now, listen, whether you believe it or you don't, and this is not fanboy nonsense. This is straight up asking a question. When you compare the last two events, one from each company, one is an unbelievable event and the other one is a fart. Asante, please take it away.
So I asked that question because in a vacuum, and I will not take credit for this. I heard Asa from Game On Daily say this on the last podcast, and he was very, very right. And it stuck with me, and he's absolutely right. The reason why folks seem to be criticizing more, specifically, when they're doing the back and forth within the two of them, is because obviously the comparisons are there to be made. But in a vacuum, right? Before Xbox came around and started doing all this craziness, right? This is just how it's always been, right? And in a vacuum, I thought it was a pretty decent show. They always say whenever there are these showcases, there are 3 or 4 that will be for you, and if you're able to grab 3 or 4 that's for you, then that's yours, right? And I got 3 or 4 that I thought were pretty great. In a vacuum, I thought it was a decent showing. There were weird pacing issues. It seemed to me like we were there for Deathloop, but they threw in a few indies here and there just because they had them lying around. Like and I'm sure no disrespect to anybody who spent the time and effort to really think about and put this together and put on a show, but it seemed as if not as much effort was put into telling of the story, if you will, because they usually try to do a lot of that. And it doesn't look like that really happened here, but that's no big deal. In a vacuum, I really like you said, I saw Fist and I was like, yep, day one, I'm there.
Yeah,
that looks great.
That's an automatic buy. I'll put it to you this way. If that even has a collector's edition.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
yeah, I want to see that cute little bunny with a badass arm. I'm looking forward to it. That's cool. That is statue worthy. You know what I mean? I will buy that. That's awesome. So I'm there for that. Fist looked really cool. Sifu looked awesome day one.
It did. That's a day one pickup. Me and BitCloud talked about that the last time we saw Sifu. I was like, yup. That seems, you know what that reminds me of? I know that it's not the same style, but it reminds me of old school PlayStation 1 beat 'em ups.
It has that style. Yes, it has that.
That's what got me excited. Yeah. There was a Square beat 'em up that was like that.
Sleeping Dogs. Did you just say Sleeping Dogs? You have said, oh, bro. I recently replayed that game. It
Great
is so
game.
underrated. I
I'm mad
love
we
that
don't have a
game.
sequel. It deserves
Oh,
it.
me too.
So good. So
It
good.
definitely does. It is so good. The gameplay, the gun, the fighting.
Environmental
It's just,
kills. They have fun
the
with it.
environmental kills.
I
It's
love
so
when a
much
dev
fun.
that
Yep.
does
That game is at least a generation ahead of itself.
It is. Yeah.
Definitely.
No questions asked.
And all the
there's-
extras
there's
they added to it and all that. Seafood definitely reminds me of that. It's almost like if they took that initial idea and went, okay, we had a spark there, but now we're going to go, Sleeping Dogs 2, really hardcore. We're going to go all the way. That looks like how that fighting style would potentially evolve. I'm really excited for Seafood. It looks really, really cool.
That's a day one for me as well. Yeah.
Now you were saying Jet was a little weird. Now, so I will preface this by saying I'm really into indie projects. Like when you hear that 1, 2, 10 or less people put together some crazy project, that's really exciting for me. Like one of my favorite games of all time was Fez. And we all know what Fez was and what Fez did.
That's a classic.
Exactly. I love that idea of on PlayStation. What do you call it? What's that name of that game? Axiom Verge, one man team. Man,
Axiom Verge was incredible.
That game I bought it on the Vita. I played it on the PlayStation. I think I even bought it again on PC.
Beat that game.
I love that game.
Yeah,
yes,
that game was great.
the single developer with that idea. Even on Xbox's side, they have Bright Memory Infinite. It's not the greatest, but it's a one man show, and even on PC folks are using that to benchmark ray tracing. One guy made this thing. You know what I mean? So when he's
a kid and he's a high school dropout.
Yes. So I'm just like, bro, I'm there for you, man. Do you? I'll be there day one. I'll hand you my cash. I'm there.
Imagine if he had the funding and a team.
Exactly. So Jet looks like it's an indie developed thing that's really weird. They threw so much at it. Like
it's funny. You mentioned
so intricate.
You mentioned No Man's Sky. Looking back at it, it kind of gives you that vibe a little bit.
It gives you the ambitious, ridiculous, over the top. It's almost like they spent so much of their budget on so many different things that they just made all one face and they just put them on all of the characters. Literally, they all have one face, But still, it's very ambitious. So, I mean, but just the idea alone of them taking their shot and not doing that, hey, we know this will work for people, so we're just going to do it, I like it. I want to see what it does. It may be a complete shit show, but hey, at least you gave it a shot. I'm there with you.
I'm surprised nobody mentioned Arcade Geddon.
We did.
Yes. Oh, did you? That looked really good. I was like, Ilphonic. Finally something that looks.
It's made to sell.
Yeah,
it's made to sell. I wasn't a fan, but it's
not
made
for
to
me.
Sell. I know who will love. People will love it. Yes,
it's a specific audience that they're targeting, and it's called the Fortnite audience. And
what something? What was that game with the dodgeball? Like recently came and took over the damn world.
Oh my God, yes.
EA game.
Yes.
Jesus, I forgot the name of it. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Same kind of aesthetic, same kind of thing. That it rubbed me the same way when I first saw that. I'm like, oh, they're pandering, and then it blew up the world. I'm just gonna sit here and go. I'm sure that one
Redfall.
Too,
It's like Microsoft's Redfall. Redfall did the same thing. Yeah, they're going for that audience, that color.
Yeah. Knockout City.
Knockout City.
Knockout City. There you go. Yeah, has that cartoony aesthetic. You know where I pull all that from. You definitely have a point with that with Fortnite, but also with Nintendo, the Squid Game. Same idea.
Splatoon.
Oh, Splatoon. They want to do an actual first person shooter or a multiplayer shooter, but without it being as visceral as you want, because you want kids into it. So they kind of cartoon it up a little bit. I can see it has an audience. It's not me. I'm not the target audience, but
something like that. The real question of what happens with that is that a $70 game?
I hope not.
Is it a free to play game? If it's a free to play game, it has room to live
for Arcade.
Yeah.
Oh, I think they said we get a beta. We get the early access to this beta.
Early access to the beta, yeah.
The game,
even retail should be like 30 or less. I hope.
Yeah, the full game won't be released to 2022, so it's next year.
Okay. So yeah, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They're letting people play the beta for free. Hopefully it comes out and it's $30 or less. Why not? It'll have room to grow. There's a lot of room for that. It may not be what I'm playing, but hey, it's all good. And as you said, Lost Judgment. I am in love with Like a Dragon. I was not totally not. Like literally, Game Pass is like forcing me to play these games every week. Come on, man, why aren't you playing it? You know, you see one, oh, okay, they added that one, and then they added another one, and then and that now. Come on, bro, just play the damn game. I tried it. I'm in love. I'm 10 hours in. I'm still loving that game. You know, so I'm looking forward to Lost Judgment. I suspect it'll probably come to Game Pass eventually, but you know, if my backlog allows, maybe I'll add that to the list as well. I think Death Stranding director's cut, we're probably going to have a deeper conversation about, and
we're going to actually. It's funny, folks, because you know, as you suspect, I'm always 2 or 3 shows ahead. I usually, that's how I work. So I start preparing for Monday's show, usually around Wednesday. And one of the topics that we're going to be talking about on Monday is, besides the Grand Theft Auto 6 news, is PlayStation is starting to walk a very thin line, and it's a dangerous one. And Herman Holtz, the other day, I have the article pulled. I haven't read it because I pull 15 articles a day and I just run through them and I figure it out. He said that they're going to be doing more and more director's cuts. That is both that's both concerning and exciting. If your game that you've already platinumed is available instead of you like, for instance, A Plague's Tale. It's available for the upgrade was available for free. You got the game for free on PlayStation, which is awesome. But if do you really want to have to pay for that game if you already had it? Where, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
they can go either way.
Yeah. Wait till you get to that Last of Us 2 director's cut. That's what they're going to do.
That's where we're going to get into. We're really going to get into it because, listen, as much as, like, for instance, I know that I'm going to get booed for this. People say, "Boom,
I already did on my stream, bro."
Boom, you're part of the problem. See, I'm going to pay the $30 for Ghost of Tsushima, but I'm not doing it for the PlayStation 5 version or for the fact that I can platinum it again. No, I platinum the game. I want the DLC. Now, the DLC in itself is $20. They're adding an extra $10 to get me to fund their bank account.
They're adding the extra. We made you buy new hardware, so now you must pay $10 extra.
So well, I'm going to write an original topic regarding, because again, that's going to be 3. We know of 3. Ghost of Tsushima, DLC, no problem. I'm all in. Right? We saw what they did with Spider-Man. We know that they're doing a Last of Us 2 director's cut. We know that they're doing a Death Stranding director's cut. What's next? You know what I'm saying? Are we going to
do probably Last of Us 1's going to include the new factions?
I don't even mind the director's cut idea, but if a person has already played the game, give them the upgrade for free, man. Let the new people buy the director's cut, but let Boom, who platinumed it, get the upgrade for free. That's just how it's always been. It's been the same on PC forever. It's been like this on Xbox. Yes. Why must folks do this? Why do they do this and expect folks, they're going to pay? Like, that sucks, man.
This is why I had this conversation with Boom and everybody about, remember how I said how a lot of these games that people hype up, they don't sell. Only a select few do ridiculous numbers. Like Horizon did over 10 million.
Spider-Man, God of
War.
Yeah.
All the newer games, like games that we talk about, but we don't give as much credit, it's like The Order 1886. Or
that game is so underrated. I love that game.
Dude, I challenge anyone to put that game on right now. I am telling you, you're gonna be like, does this have next gen upgrade?
It's Gears of War gameplay and way better graphics. That's what that game is. It's awesome. It was an awesome game that nobody played.
Until Dawn was another one that got left in the dirt after these the whole situation. It's like, bro, there's so many games that Sony really pushed that didn't sell, and you won't see a sequel to. And it's sad at this point. I mean, a lot of people want Infamous. I'm not even sure how Infamous Second Son really did, but
you know what? I did not enjoy Infamous Second Son as much as the first 2.
Like First Light,
and then the DLC with the vampires was ridiculous.
Nah. Wait, did you like First Light? Did you play First Light?
You know what? That's the thing. I never played it because I was so.
I like First Light.
I
First
heard
Light
it.
was
It
cool.
is night and day difference.
Yeah, I liked First Light. First Light was
Better
real
cards.
good. Yeah, definitely.
It was
and the graphics were on point.
Nice,
They did a great job.
compact story.
Yeah.
I think you could beat it in 8 or 10 hours. It's one of those. It's one of the few things I never got around to playing because I enjoyed the graphical fidelity of Second Son. I couldn't do it. I fell out of love
That's
with
all
that
you were
game.
getting, yeah. Like your choices didn't really matter, especially the ending. It didn't really mix well. Didn't feel important.
So they had Deathloop. Obviously, it's an exclusive for this. Is it coming out this year or is that still next year?
Deathloop is coming out this year, September.
So it is September. Okay, so
Yeah.
we Xbox players get it next September. Whenever the 12-month thing is up in Game Pass. Let's talk about that. Now, this has nothing to do with the fact that it's a PlayStation exclusive. I enjoyed Dishonored 1. Did not really enjoy Dishonored 2. Very samey. I started, I got halfway through it. I said, yep, I kind of lost my. I loved the first one. Kay Asante, you made mention that this reminded you a lot of Dishonored 1, even the moves.
Oh yeah, I'll actually tell you, it reminded me a lot more of Dishonored 2. Dishonored 1 was the spark. Dishonored 2 was definitely, and I played Dishonored, like, as a person, I beat Dishonored 1. I'm like 95% into Dishonored 2. Like, I've played that game multiple times. I love Arcane. I love what they do. I love their aesthetic. I love their building of the.
It's a very unique levels. Artistic look that studio has. Yeah.
And this game, Deathloop, looks like they went, okay, we're not even going to try. We're not even going to obscure it. This is the game we're known for, Dishonored 2 and Hitman.
Next generation. Yeah, there you go. Mashing.
Yeah. That's all it is. That's exactly what this is. Now, is this going to be like, here's a question. What price will this be on the PlayStation? I don't know.
I would imagine 60, this is probably a $70
but if
game.
If it's 70,
are you sure about that? Because $70 is determined by the first party. PlayStation would determine that, but this is an Xbox game, so Microsoft would determine the price of this game. So would it be 60? That will be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. It looks interesting. I mean, it looks fun. It's not like, hey, this is the AAA ridiculous, everybody's here for it kind of thing. It looks like it has a lot of potential. It looks like it's going to be really interesting. I like the mood. I like the aesthetic. It's the talking and the back and forth banter. It has a swagger of blackness that I appreciate, but not just me. Dudes walking about murking fools left and right. I'm like, I like that man. Who is that man? I like him. I like that. But will it be this? Will this be another bullet in the chamber for the console war? I hope not. I hope this is just a fun thing that comes and goes.
It doesn't matter what they do.
You know what I'm hoping?
It'll always come at the console war. Even the Game Pass song became a console war thing.
You know what I'm hoping this one to all I want this game to be is another notch in the belt for Arcane. Like here is another game that Arcane made that people were they didn't know that they wanted, but they're playing and enjoying it. And that goes for whoever you are on whatever console you enjoy it on. See, for me, I'm not buying the game. I'm going to wait for Game Pass because, quite frankly, there's just too many games. And I know I'm going to be getting it in Xbox Game Pass. Also, you specifically said, it's very Dishonored 2. Dishonored 2, not so much for Boom. Dishonored 1, played through it twice. Absolutely loved every minute of it.
It went more complex in Dishonored 2. They went really, really far with the stealth and the complexity of access and all that. And if you're not a real stealthy, crazy person, it'll turn you off. 100%. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, real quick, did you see this article by Push Square? I had to comment on it on Twitter this afternoon. They're literally going, this is why I'm less excited for Deathloop on PS5 than I should be. And the long story short is because they know that the next game won't be on PlayStation. So it's basically PSA, don't buy it because the next one's not even going to be on PlayStation. Like, what the hell?
Well, here's the thing about Push Square. Big Cloud, I want to grab your opinion on this because, look, we're not media.
Yeah.
Right. We're content creators. We do this for a multitude of reasons. I think most of us line up with the love of gaming. Right. Like I think that's like I'm wearing a Pong shirt, for Christ's sake. Does anyone even know what Pong is?
Oh,
That's what
hell yeah,
want
I
to
do.
know. Okay, well, you
That's
guys
right.
do, but I'm saying that they have what they have done. First of all, their writing is not that great, and listen, I'm not a writer. Like I'm a blockhead, folks. I'm not writing any articles for anybody. I totally get it. My show notes are so over exaggerated. You'd be like, what is going on here? It's fine. But they have done what IGN has done, and GameSpot and Kotaku. They flipped their loyalty narrative for clicks.
Yep.
Now every Xbox, or person is running to look, PlayStation. Don't get caught up with that, because all they're doing is going where the good stories are. Right now, apparently it's a thing, folks. It's a thing to trash PlayStation for X whatever. Now they've made some blockhead moves, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow morning. Big Cloud, their marketing has just I don't even know what's happening. Like I listen, folks. I'm an Xbox guy. I know that's the Xbox guy, but if you want to pull the notes and see where Boom has been, I have always spoken highly of PlayStation's marketing. They're the masters of marketing. I've been saying that for years. Go and pull the tapes.
We usually say Xbox needs to learn a little bit from them.
Yes, we have
Especially
said that.
Presentation, we say it all the time.
All the time. And I don't know what happened with the upside down PlayStation that they had to pull that. That is a big boo-boo, and they lost probably thousands of dollars.
And that's the second one, right? The first one was welcome. When instead it was Blue Point instead of that was another one that was instead of Housemarque.
It has not been good for Sony's PR.
They're stumbling a little bit.
But okay, so listen, we talked about the show. We gave our opinions. There's some games here. There's some gems here, folks. Not every game is for every gamer. So maybe like myself, I pull 3 games from this list. 3 out of the 11 day one buys for Boom. No questions asked.
I'd say
one I don't have to buy in Heaven's Arena, Hunter's Arena, which I'm going to play. And of course, Fist and Sifu. Day one, no questions asked. So 8 games I could give a flying about. But now we have to ask the question, what happens next for PlayStation? Now, Sony themselves has not come out and said official August, whatever, you're getting Horizon, Half Show, and God of War. And it's going to be a story if that's the case, because those are 2 AAA bombs that I'm looking forward to, Kay Asante and Big Cloud. Most people who like those story-driven, over-the-shoulder, Sony-esque games will be buying those games day one. A lot of people are. But the question that we have to ask is, after what a lot of people are saying is a very disappointing showing for Sony today, what do they have to do to respond? And more importantly, can they respond? Now, we know that God of War, I think God of War, Ragnarok, Armageddon, whatever it's going to be called, is the original pitch by Corey by Corey Barlog. If you remember the interview in Raising Kratos, he specifically said that he pitched a DLC and he was told straight up by Sony, it's too ambitious, forget it. Right? Now, I thought originally that he was not a part of the God of War 2 directorship. I was wrong. He is apparently the director. So I'm starting to wonder if BitCloud, and I think we're all on the same page, that this might be, now that's not a bad thing, because what Barlog said got me excited about the pitch. So this is going to be a straight up sequel to what we played and loved. It just might be the Miles Morales size type of game. And you know what? That's fine. But they have to do something big. I think that they could really curb a lot of the fear if they give us a Horizon release date this year, which I'm hoping for. Give me a collector's edition. Let me pre-order it. I think that's day one. for me personally. Horizon is my favorite new IP for Sony. I say that all the time. I have shilled for that woman, and she's never gonna know who I am. Okay, and if they can throw some God of War in there, well, that's a show.
They'll definitely make waves. They need big waves right now,
and
because they're
back
too
to
quiet.
back. Those are two games that could do exactly what you're talking. Big Cloud, let's get your opinion on this. Is that the formula to kind of end Sony's year? And okay, listen, you're getting it this year, Horizon. Next year, God of War. PlayStation's back. Is that what they need to do?
It definitely needs to, because now I was really into the show until we saw Sifu, and they said that was delayed to 2022.
Yeah, they moved it. Yeah,
when they moved that to 2022, that made me really think, like, okay, we haven't seen Horizon's official release date yet, so it's like, has that been pushed back to spread out the sheet, so to speak? So if that is legit, that's legit ready for this year, then yeah, that would be the move to make. You say, yeah, this game is dropping this year. You might get it, let's say, I don't know, December, right? Like around PSX time, that's where it dropped.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, you do that and you go, hey guys, by the way, God of War.
Yeah.
Here's a trailer. Obviously, trailer. You say, hey, here's a trailer, gameplay, or whatever you need to show, and you next year. That's how you're supposed to do it. Because right now, the thing about Sony and the thing that's really killing them is that they're not transparent. That's the thing. They're very to themselves. And a lot of people might say that's a good thing. It is, but me and you went over this numerous times. There is a gift and a curse to that. How much of this stuff has been leaked on these numerous shows that we've been talking about, especially these big events? How many of them have been leaked in the context? So it's like nothing is safe at this point. It's like you have to have a better plan in mind for this. And then, of course, when you go to PR, usually this is the last thing we would ever talk about is your PR. Their PR is on top of the world type of thing. There's no issue with PR. But the fact that they're having issues where games when they're saying like we made acquisitions and nothing's actually been confirmed yet. This is not, you know what I mean? Like they're not finalized. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Everybody sees this. So they definitely need to fix that.
Well, I will say this, and this is just me speaking out loud. Kena, one of my most anticipated games of 2021, Sony exclusive for now. It's coming out to other consoles another time, but it's a Sony exclusive, so it's a Sony exclusive. If you come around and give us that in August, right? You get Deathloop in September. And you turn around and you give us Horizon in December. Let's just say for shits and giggles, December, whatever. Fine. Mm-hmm. That's solid. That's solid.
How confident are we that Horizon is going to be this year?
And that's the thing. That's the thing.
Because what exactly
initially,
what Big Cloud just said made me think maybe he's onto something with Sifu that was supposed to release this year.
So as they said 2021, and you said that joint went, I'm like, okay. What else got pushed up?
isn't that what ate their lunch last time around? I too am a lover of Horizon Zero Dawn, but yeah, Breath of the Wild ate them. They smoked them like neck bones, So if they decide to release in 2022 again, it better be completely in the opposite side of the calendar, which I don't think it will be. So they better release this year.
It's pushed, listen, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that if it gets moved,
it's more like
for whatever reason, it's a February release for that game.
Yeah.
Now, does that what does that do for Breath of the Wild, which I'm expecting in March?
Yeah,
right? March is I think it comes up on the anniversary. I think it's
isn't that a Titanfall situation all over again?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That's crazy because I really think Horizon deserves its moment in the sun.
Dude, that game is great. I get a lot of people like, oh, Horizon boring. Listen, if it's boring for you, listen, dude, that's fine.
Yeah,
what am I going to tell you? I
platinumed it on PlayStation, and I also bought it on the PC because even on PC, it is glorious. That game is glorious.
Will probably never platinum that game because those hunting missions piss me off.
Dude, they're fun. They're fun, dude.
So much fun. Yeah.
Wait till you get to part 2. I love the new edition. Like again, it's like, bro, you wowed the hell out of us with the reveal. You had the internet buzzing off the gameplay alone. I thought we were just going to get the release date there, but the fact that they got that to their chest is like, what's going on here? So,
well, you know what? Listen, I don't think they didn't want to push themselves off a cliff and put a date out there and then like they did with Last of Us 2 was delayed numerous times for good reason. I mean, whether Big Cloud, we're not going to get into it. We hated the game. Graphically, it's gorgeous.
Dudes get emotional. Tommy mentioned the games. Like, listen, I'm not buying the director's cut, whatever the hell they released. I'm not doing it. I'm done with Last of Us 2. Don't worry. But it's just like Last of Us 1.
That game is a graphical masterpiece.
It is.
I just couldn't sit through.
I can't sit through the third act.
Murder Machine. Like,
and then they played this.
Well, I mean, look.
Again,
we're not gonna. Yeah, we're not gonna turn it into a Last of Us thing. But there's a reason why Microsoft internally reviewed that game.
Of course. Yeah.
Enough said, folks. Yep. That's it. There's no questions about the conversation. But let's get Keasante. Big Cloud makes fantastic points, and I think we're both in agreement that, you know, there's a lot of the times where Sony does some questionable things, right? And then they release a trailer for X game, and everyone forgets it. Like, holy shit, that game's
like a stealth announcement. You're like,
right.
Oh, you know what about what I said? Yeah, we're good.
Right.
We're good. Now this time it's not.
It's kind of like Beverly Hills Cop 2. Remember that with the summon, the tickets?
Yeah.
Hey, tickets in this hand, $100 in this hand, but you don't remember what's in this hand. That's Sony.
Yeah.
So how do they respond, Keasante? What happens after we all digest what just the 11 games that we saw, 3 that we all took away with yes, we're in, and 8 we're like, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
What does Sony have to do in August? But Mike, I understand. I want to hear what you think they have to do. What you want them to do. My question is, what do they have to do?
Yeah, honestly, we see the writing on the wall with as far as the back and forth, about all the competitors at their heels, but I don't think they do. I don't think they see the writing on the wall. It's slowly becoming apparent to them. So it looks like the moves they're making are a little bumbly and fumbly, They go, we're not in an arms race. Bye. 2 weeks later. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just and I'm not saying they fumbled and they rushed to go buy. Obviously, buying was always part of the plan. But why do you have to say we're not in an arms race first before you go buy? That literally points like a bad PR move at you. You know what I mean? It's almost
like,
there's Miko. There she is.
Nice. She is adorable.
She's scratching at my door.
It's like they're a boxer and they see the depending on their opponent is their confidence level is either giving them confidence to keep going, or their opponent now is like on the upswing and is kind of punching back and they're reeling. So it seems, they're making moves that look like they're responding rather than doing what they do. And that's usually what they do. They do them. You know what I mean? They'll release a logo of the PlayStation, just the logo, and folks will go wild for weeks. That's
they know what will trend. That's just what it is.
Well, I mean, listen, regardless of whether you want to believe it or not, they're the market leader still. I understand the Switch is selling.
In mind share, they are definitely the market.
Their mind share is ridiculous. Yeah. That is a reality. But with that said, though, hold on just a second. I'm really glad you said mind share, and I want to get both your opinion on this. It's a gift and a curse, because when it goes right, it really goes right. This is one of those times where that mind share could potentially go off a cliff.
Yeah, I agree with you. And of course, they now are in this perfect situation where their mouthpieces, which is the gaming media, used to be all about them, and now there are some chinks in that armor. People are starting to be a little bit more on the opposite side, a bit more. Folks who were dyed in the wool for them are not as full-throated as they used to be. Pause.
Yeah, we've all asked for them to have a natural upgrade system for these games, and they don't even have that.
And they don't even have that. Infrastructure is not there. The stuff that, and I talk about this all the time myself. I'm normally multi-plat. I'm normally more on the Xbox guy than the PlayStation, but it's because of that infrastructure. It's because of the idea that right now, if I want to go play a Plague's Tale, the new version, I just turn on the box, and I'm off to the races. On the PlayStation 5 side, it's a hour shit show of figuring out where my saves go, things like that. And honestly,
keep going.
No, I was just gonna say, as far as to answer your question as to what they should do, they should see this as a serious challenge. They should see this and go, hey guys, maybe we need to reestablish what we're going, because the mistake that people make is they go, well, Sony has always, Microsoft is always. Yeah, their names are the same. their names are definitely the same. But the people who were succeeding before are not the people who are succeeding now. The people who were failing before are not the people who are failing today. You can look and spit in Microsoft's face, but the people you're spitting on aren't the people who screwed you before.
Yeah.
And the people who were so successful at PlayStation are not the people who are reaping those benefits today. They just happen to be helming the seat that people remember so fondly of. And they're kind of making mistakes here and there. So I am not like, to me, the jury is still out because they are the market leaders for a reason. And I still believe they are the market leaders for a reason. You know, they're gaming
blood.
Yes. But that new blood needs to be proven. It's not tested yet. You know, they're just coasting off of the name that exists where Sean Layden and the rest of them and Shuhei and the rest of them really laid it down.
I tell you, you know what?
We'll see.
Let me ask you this. Oh, I didn't cut you up, but let me ask you this. As I said this on Game On Daily. Now I said with with them, obviously when Sean Layden was running things, he was running things from a gamer's perspective.
That guy is my hero.
Notice that, right?
And I remember that. Shuhei,
he ran that from a gamer's perspective, so he knew
he certainly did.
He knew how to wow us. He knew how to bring the shows. Everything felt special. They felt like events. Jim Ryan is running it strictly from a business perspective, so that means that you're going to see a lot of strategic planning, or you're going to see a lot more investments in certain things. That's what
monetary focused moves.
There you go. Focus and growth. That's his big thing. Growth. If you guys look at the financial report, that was the big thing they kept talking about: potential growth. And you saw that with Miles Morales.
To add to that, BitCloud, that's the reason why that Dutch studio was added, because of they are talented when it comes to the PC porting. They're not making games for PlayStation 5. They're porting games for PC. That's the growth you're talking about.
Yo, that's the thing. People came up with this crazy idea like that was strictly for PS5 port. It's not for that. We've been saying this for the longest time. You're going to see dips like them dabble into it. They're not going to go all out like Microsoft. Microsoft said, this is what we're about. This is the model. They're doing baby steps in that direction. You're seeing bits and pieces. They're building around that. Pretty soon, they're going to take advantage of Azure service and change what? Boom. PlayStation Now to a better service that it needs to be. That needs to be upgraded. So you're going to see that. People get upset when I mention this, but that's the case. No, and it's funny.
It's 100% true. Yeah.
And I threw Uncharted. It's funny because how many times did I throw Uncharted at the wall?
You've been saying that conversation for quite some time.
I was like, bro, I would not be surprised if Uncharted made its way to PC.
You know what surprises me about that?
It's going to PC.
You know what surprised me about Uncharted? They put the wrong one on PC. I would think they'd put the trilogy on PC.
That's the trick.
Why not do that one?
That's the trick. Remember, they put the ones they're putting on there is the ones to hype up the sequel. So this is 4. More than likely 5.
The movie and the sequel. Yeah,
5, the sequel. That gets more eyes on the sequel. And then you go back, you put the legacy on there.
Sure.
If those guys want the option to play that, if they haven't
because it's not the
jumped
best foot forward. If you haven't played Uncharted 1 before, you may not want to play that today. You don't want to play that representative. Yeah,
that's not
4 and 3. Okay, I hear you. Okay, no, that is an interesting point. That is very, very, very true. You're absolutely right. Nixus is a move for growth. They're going to be sitting next to Naughty Dog. They're going to be sitting next to any of the studios making their next big hits and going, this is how you make your workflow easy. So when you're ready to port to PC,
just give
Microsoft
it us.
Microsoft can do that because they make the PC operating system.
And
they
also,
don't need anything. They build the tools for DirectX, so they don't need to worry about it. Nixus needs to be in there. Please,
the biggest another thing that was annoying too, but this is they're fixing, obviously, right? How many times we said this, Boom? Sony needs multiplayer games.
Yes. Yeah.
Most of their new investments and newer games have what? Multiplayer. They're building towards that. So that's, again, all that stuff is just being thrown in there. Now, again, are they doing live service games? No, but they're building towards
it. They're adding something. They're adding a feature that a lot of people have been asking for that have seen it on the Xbox side, and they're embracing that. I want to know, that's a funny thing. You talk about multiplayer. There's still something that we have no idea when it's coming. I know it's going to cost us everything, and that's factions.
Let me guess.
It's director's cut. I'm telling you, it's director's cut. I'm telling you, I have that in my bones. After seeing, especially
timestamp it, folks. I'm going to come back to this episode. Yeah,
I'm saying what I'm saying. Death Stranding. We saw what they did with Death Stranding with this director's cut. That is a catalyst of what they're going to do with the PS5 version of Last of Us Part 2. They're going to say, hey guys, 60 FPS, ray tracing. We might add some new story elements, Abby sections, and then we'll do the factions.
Well,
on
maybe
top
they
of
could
that.
tell
There
Abby's
you go.
story better than they gave it to her because God damn it.
That'll be the Big Cloud and Boom edition, and that will be the top seller. I would have told that story completely
It's funny,
different.
not to bring this all the way back. I fell in love with her character. Like,
she's a good character, yeah.
She was, in my opinion, she saved the game for me because I hated Ellie at the end. I hated her. I was like, well, she's disgusting.
They take an amazing character from the first one, make you hate her. It's like, whose bright idea was this? I don't know. But that was terrible.
It is what it is. But listen, folks, this is not meant to be like a 2-hour stream. It's a 50 minutes, 60 minutes. I want to catch up with some of the super chat. Gerald Mack, generous friend of the show, drops the first super chat. It might be the only super chat of the night, and that's fine, folks. We don't do this for money. There's a few of them. Okay, listen. If you drop super chats, believe you me, I don't expect anything. The fact that you're here watching, that's awesome. So thank you so much, Gerald Mack. He drops a $5 super chat and says, we have to remember the same team that ran PlayStation and last generation is a completely new team this generation, and that's the difference. And you know something? I think you're onto something. Now, I don't know why they moved. I don't know what happened in the conversation that they, let's get, because that's a lot. Again, we talked about that before.
Restructuring, globalization. Remember, globalization. They trimmed the fat. All the stuff that didn't sell, they condensed it to stuff that sold. PlayStation, movies, and TVs.
Didn't they say Jim Ryan was single-handedly like making Europe like a PlayStation stronghold? So that's why he basically, because of that, he fought to take the big seat from Sean, and because he had the numbers to prove he could do that. Yeah. And in doing so, they also like demoted Shuhei, unfortunately. Which
here's the thing. Here's the thing about Jim Ryan.
I'm hearing so many stories about him.
He's a businessman. And whether you like him or you don't, and there are a lot of people that don't, even the PlayStation guys, they don't really care for him. What he did in Europe, cannot be denied. He found a way to sell 5 PlayStations to a 1 Xbox, where if you remember 360 days, how strong Xbox was in the European League. And
honestly, Boom, I hear you on that, but I won't push back, but I'll give you an addendum to that. Okay. It's true they did that, but that's because Microsoft gave it to them. They
you're onto something.
There's no changing of languages in their games. They weren't having representatives in other countries like Sony was. They literally ceded the whole area to PlayStation. So it's like, yeah, obviously they're gonna win because you're not putting up a fight anywhere but America. That's unfortunate,
Here's the real quick, Keo Walker, generous friend of the show. We talk in DMs all the time. He drops a $5 super chat, says Deathloop is $60 and the deluxe is $80. Thank you. Yes. So it's a $60 game. That. That's cool.
So there you go.
That's going to more likely just be tied to the PlayStation Studios logo. That's just
more than likely. Abacab72 drops a very generous $5 super chat and he says, for Xbox guys, both Arcane Studios will have something for us. Deathloop and Redfall. May the battle of Arcane Studios begin. That's pretty interesting because one is obviously the Austin team and this is obviously the other team. That's a great analogy, and thank you for the generosity. Elemental PO, generous friend of the show, he drops a $5 super chat and says, so no update on the SSD still. What happened? State of Play could have mentioned something. Yeah,
that's going to take forever because remember, again, these SSDs, especially these newer ones, use heatsink stuff like that. They have to fine tune these and check these out. They're not compatible. So again, they went a cheaper route by doing this, a more safer route with this, but at the same time, it's the most time consuming one. This takes the longest. Microsoft had a proprietary. So people say that's, I see people on social media say that's a bad thing because it gets hot. I'm like, newsflash, they're SSDs get hot. But
yeah, and as a PC tech guy, I'll tell you, M.2, PCIe 4.0 M.2s, average price $250.
300 and that's just base. We're talking about base.
That's a deal.
That's a base deal, like storage. You want more, like 500 gigs or something like that. It's like $700.
And I'm gonna be honest with you.
Pricing.
I cringed, and I really did when I paid $219 for the memory card. I was like, I traded. I'm not even gonna front, folks. I traded.
People
some
are
stuff
complaining. People complaining about it, but I'm sorry. You want a Lamborghini? You're paying Lamborghini prices.
There you
What's
go.
your problem?
There you go.
You want to buy the old 1995 hard drives. They're a dime a dozen on Amazon, and they're cheap. Go
They're
get them.
$50.
You may not be able to use them. It is what
$50.
it is.
Listen, all I can say is that this was a great, swift 60-minute show. We had almost 400 people here. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm surprised, only because I didn't do a lot of advertising for this. Listen, we don't come here. We don't pile on the rabbit on this channel. If you're new, and we had a lot of new people, what's crazy, folks? I've been kind of struggling with the subs. I don't know why. I don't know if it's my algorithm. Maybe YouTube hates me. I got 31 today, which was crazy. Like I've been on a bit of a drought, and listen, I'm grinding, folks, and I really want your sub, and I'm putting in the content. Hopefully, if you're new, you tuned in, PlayStation guy, gal, multiplat, whatever. Listen, four days a week, you get 4 2-hour shows every week. Even when I'm sick, I do the shows, right? Unless I'm just dying, I don't do them. This is the second bonus one of the week. By the time I'm done, 5 days, 7 shows, and it's all positive content. We will criticize. Hey, you know what, dude? It's funny. Sleeping isn't so much the problem. It's the playing the games that has severely dropped. Like I play games to record. Perfect example. I said, you know what? We're talking about Dead Space last week. Let me record. I can't stop playing Dead Space. Like I'm gonna beat it now, and I'm gonna play 2 again. Like who plays old games? I do. You know what I'm saying? Like that game's still as scary as shit, by the way. Yep. But listen, let's get everyone out of here. I want to thank the near 400 people here. Of course, thank the super chats that have come in. Again, we don't do this for money. I do this for the love of you guys and gals. I love doing the content. I've been blessed with the ability to have retired young. And I mean, obviously, spinal cord injury and all, that kind of forced me out the door, but gave me a new lease on life with gaming, something I always wanted to get into, never knew I could. But here we are, and that's thanks to you guys and gals. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the super chats. Of course, let's get everyone out here. BitCloud, tomorrow you got a show. It's going to be interesting. You've been doing some really incredible content, folks. If you're not, did you cross 10K?
I'm almost there, man.
Folks, please, from one content creator, I implore you. There are a lot of terrible PlayStation shows out there. BitClouds is not one of them. And he's this close to 10,000 subs. Folks, you don't understand what a deal that is. There are certain levels in YouTube as a content creator that you get to that gives me goosebumps as a 50-year-old man talking about it. Getting your first sub, Mrs. Boomstick was mine, so I'm always going to remember that. That's my life partner right there. Your first 100, your first 1,000, and when you get to 10K. And when you get to 10K, you don't understand. You kind of graduate in YouTube. They kind of treat you a little different. Once you hit 10, you're going to start seeing that the numbers are going to be coming like this. You get into an algorithm, like, I don't even know how I got here. Let's sub this man. Let's get him past 10K. And please do it on my word. If you trust me, go and sub this man's channel, pitch it, brother, and tell everyone what you're going to be doing tomorrow outside of Breakfast with Boom, which we'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right. Well, Boom, as always, thank you for the invite. Good to talk to Mr. Santier. First time. Good to meet you.
Good to talk to you. Yes.
Absolutely. And guys, I'm always here. My brother, Mr. Boomstick. I'm proud of this guy right here. It's funny, when I first ran to Boom, Boom was at like 3K.
Yeah.
When I first started ranting, he offered me the opportunity to join the panel. I was going to go, wait, he wants to work with me. Like, no, wants to work with me. And we just hit it off. And then, obviously Dave and everybody, we just had more fun. But this is literally turned into an extended family.
It certainly has.
It really has. We talk every day. We always are in each other's ear when it comes to this gaming perspective. And you know, even if I don't make a show, I'm always there somehow in the chat or in some particular way. You know what I'm saying? I consider Boom a brother. He really is a good dude. And I already told him back when he first hit 4K, I said good things will come to you.
Yes,
just continue to do your thing.
Yes.
And people call me crazy, and look at him, he's doing even better. But me, you guys can find me at Big Cloud Gaming. I just put it in the chat. Hit that subscribe button if you want. And join the channel. I'm getting close again to 10K. RGT podcast. I host that on Fridays. I have developers from PlayStation come through.
Dude, some of your guests have been bananas, dude.
Yeah, I had a developer from Blue Point. It's funny. Had a developer from Blue Point, had a developer from Housemarque, and Sony just acquired Housemarque and reportedly Blue Point. So we were talking to them not too long ago.
That's done. We're
just waiting for confirmation, but we pretty much know. And just a lot of other stuff planned. August 8th or August 7th, sorry, is when I think we'll have an even bigger guest. Right now, I haven't really asked around PlayStation because Sony's been really busy with the other stuff. But seriously, appreciate you guys. Hit that like button for Boom, and see you guys tomorrow.
Yes. Now, real quick, before I get to Asante, Wandering Dutch. This is a content creator that if you have not worked with him, if you've not listened to his stuff, he's as honest as they come, folks. Again, I have to ask. Boom will never ask for me, but I will always ask for others. He's 181 from 1,000. If there's anyone that deserves to be sitting at 10K, it's that man right there. His work is impeccable. His clarity on the way he breaks down topics is amazing. That is why he has joined Primetime Gaming on a full-time basis. And I made that announcement. I couldn't be prouder. Go sub both of these men. Go sub, in fact, all three of these men. Because Asante, we're going to get to you, what you're doing. Phenomenal work, as always. But yeah, go sub Big Cloud. Go sub Dutch. And Asante, you are doing 2 shows a week with, of course, our brother, Everborn Saga. Self-made man. This is a guy that created his own anime series. You have come in on the scene. I think you're going to be something very special. You have an incredible voice, incredible beard, by the way.
Well, thank you, sir.
Okay.
I'm trying to get for Jason Ronald. I'm just not quite there yet.
I'm already jealous of it. I'm already jealous.
Trying to go for Jason Ronald status.
But they do 2 shows weekly. One is called The Real Podcast, in real life, like the real, like movies, and it's incredible. And of course, they have their video game podcast where basically him and Everborn are pretty much slow-mo backslap and gaming forte. They're kind of like the Odd Couple in one generation and the Odd Couple in new generation. Sell your brand, brother. Talk about what you got going.
Thank you, Boom. Appreciate it. So first off, Big Cloud, I'm a big fan. I'm actually of your almost 10K. I'm definitely one. I've been watching your stuff for a while, so it was good podcasting with you. Hopefully, we could do it again. Yes. Absolutely. So as Boom has alluded to, I appreciate all y'all for joining. For the chat was amazing today.
Yes.
So many people. It was really awesome. A lot of faces that I chat with all the time anyway. K_Asante on Twitter. That's where you'll find me. Whenever we do any kind of live shows or anything like that, that's where I post my stuff. As Boom has alluded to, myself and Mr. Everborn Saga like to chop it up from time to time, get slanderish from time to time, have some hot takes here and there. Thursdays, usually today, we usually do On The Real. We're probably going to do this On The Real today a little bit later because of life happens. I suspect we'll probably do it later today at 10 or something like that because of certain family situations. But we talk TV shows, movies.
There's a lot to get into.
A lot of exciting stuff. I can't wait to talk about What If. I'm like this little 10-year-old boy going, yeah, it is.
You talk about Fast 9 though.
We want to talk about Fast 9. We're going to talk about Fast 9. Yes, indeed. And also Black Widow and all of that. We're going to have mad fun. Big Cloud, we know you run a gaming channel, but if you're ever interested in chopping it up on some movies and TV, you're always welcome to join us as well. I'm sure Everborn will be excited. King David's been on there a couple times. He actually might come again next week. I suspect we're talking to him about that. But yes, we do the On The Real every Thursday, usually around 8 to 10 o'clock. And then on Saturdays, we do the Gaming Circle podcast where we just get in a circle and sometimes it turns into a circle jerk. But like last week, we had a very interesting conversation. We had one of the pillars of the community on the PlayStation side, Mr. Optimus Code, was on there with us, having some interesting conversations. And this week, my co-host may not be available because family things but I'm working on my first interviewed guest, a developer who will come on and possibly talk about it. I will cheat by saying he is one of my best friends. He's been a friend of mine for years, but he also happens to be a developer that has ties to almost every huge gaming brand you've ever thought of. If you're talking Fortnite, you're talking, Gears of War. He worked on it. He so many. He's worked at EA, Ubisoft. He's worked at so many great places. So I've been talking him into getting on the show, and we're introducing him to the community. So this Saturday, hopefully we'll get that done. This Saturday, follow me, K_Asante on Twitter, where you'll see when we go live. And once again, I appreciate everybody who came out to come hang out with us. Wandering Dutch, I see you there. Can't wait to podcast with you again on Monday. And anyone who happens to still be here, please hit that like button. We have 500 people, almost 400 people that showed up. Our likes are not even up to 2. Come on, a little bit longer would be better. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Until tomorrow.
Yes, well, Raiden Blade, before we get out of here, drops a $10 super chat, 10-pound super chat. Says, "Hey, just arrived, Mr. Boom. Glad your brother convinced you to do this. I didn't know you were on. We will rewatch. Thank you so much for that." We also had Raiden Blade drops another one, another $2 super chat. Says, "Neo Mental, thank you, great human being." Yes, my brother is hard to beat as a human being. But listen, folks, thank you so much for being here. Of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's important to me. Hopefully, one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that our father taught us when we were kids. He said, "Son, treat others how you want to be treated. Also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, and I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day." So take care, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom, where King David will be reprising his role as King of the Kingdom. And we'll be getting Zemi Games is making a guest appearance. Remember, he started out his podcasting career there, went to the Xbox Factor on Thursday. Now he's on the Xbox Factor on Tuesday. He's making the rounds, and we have an incredible show for you. We'll see you tomorrow morning, folks. Thanks again.